Which undrafted free agents did the Chicago Bears sign? And from those undrafted free agents, which ones actually realistically have a chance to make the Bears roster? Let's talk about it. What is going on, y'all? Faiz Sports Talk back at it with another video talking, of course, some NFL here to talk about the Bears. So if you're a Bears fan, make sure you go ahead and you subscribe to the channel, folks. I'm telling you, helps me out a lot when you support the channel. So go and do so. Turn on my post notifications so you're notified every time I drop a new video. Please do so. And finally, check out my social media links down below. For that, you guys can follow me on my Twitter, my Instagram, whatever it is. Reach out, ask questions here for you guys. So with that being said, look, a lot of you guys requested this video. A lot of you guys wanted me to make this video where you wanted to know, Faiz, what are the undrafted free agents the Bears signed? You know, can you talk about them? So you know what? Anytime you guys obviously ask me to make a video, I try to acquiesce and deliver. So that is what I'm doing here. We're going to be talking about all of the undrafted free agents the Bears signed and really talking about, you know, which ones realistically have a chance to make the roster. So let's not wait any longer. Let's get into it. So just real quick, before I get started, for those of you that are unfamiliar with this process of undrafted free agency, it is exactly what it sounds like. Undrafted free agents, okay? So after the draft each year, there are a bunch of guys that go undrafted. And those guys have the opportunity to get snatched up and signed by various NFL teams because, again, you only have so many draft picks. And, of course, I made a video on all the Bears draft picks and my thoughts on them, so you guys can go check that out. But after the draft, the Bears signed a bunch of undrafted free agents. So how many did they sign? Well, they signed 11 to be exact. And I will tell you about every single one of them. Now, I'm not going to go into like super duper detail on every single one of them, but I will focus my attention on the guys that you guys should pay attention to and guys that I feel like have a legitimate chance to compete for an official roster spot. So without further ado, let's get familiar with these guys. Here are the 11 undrafted free agents that the Bears signed here. So at the top, again, don't get overwhelmed here. We've got two running backs, Artavius Pierce and Napoleon Maxwell, a wide receiver and Ahmad Wagner, offensive lineman and Badari Traore, I'm probably botching the name, offensive lineman Dieter J. Elyson, again, botching the names, you know, my apologies, folks. Linebacker Keandre Jones, linebacker Rashad Smith, defensive end Ladarius Mack, who you guys should know because I made a video on him, the younger brother of Khalil Mack, of course. Defensive lineman Trayvon McSwain, defensive lineman LaCall London, and defensive tackle Lee Autry. So there you go, the 11 undrafted free agents the Bears have. So let's talk about the main ones in more detail, and we'll start right at the top with Artavius Pierce, who you saw there from Oregon State. So Artavius Pierce, I believe, has a fantastic shot. And out of this entire group, I believe has the best shot to make the Bears roster. Why? A couple of things. Number one, position. He is a running back. And the Bears did not draft a running back, and they did not sign a running back in free agency. So right now on the roster, you've only got David Montgomery, Tariq Cohen, and Ryan Nall. Okay? And again, with Artavius Pierce, I believe he's got the talent to beat out Ryan Nall, okay? A couple of quick things on him. Again, I mentioned he's from Oregon State, averaged 5.8 yards per carry. He's got great speed, good burst. He's an elusive back. He's got good hands. I believe he's faster than Ryan Nall is, but he's a little smaller, 5'11", 207 pounds. But we know Matt Nagy loves these kinds of backs. So I see him just on a talent level being better than Ryan Nall is. And so for those reasons, I think he can absolutely beat Ryan Nall here for this spot. So I definitely do think you can keep your eye on Artavius Pierce. He has got some serious potential to make a Bears roster spot. Another guy to keep an eye on, Keandre Jones. He was a 5-star recruit out of high school, and he went to Ohio State. Now, he didn't get a lot of playing time there, so he transferred to Maryland. And in that 1 year in Maryland, 15 tackles for losses, 74 overall tackles, 7 sacks, 3 forced fumbles. So the production's there. So the production is absolutely there. And so Keandre Jones is another talented guy that can obviously compete for a roster spot. Now, again, The position's loaded for the Bears. We already know how good they are on defense, so that might be an issue for him, but certainly keep him on the practice squad. Nothing wrong with that. Moving on to Badare Traore, the backup tackle out of LSU. Dude's massive, 6'7", 320 pounds. You love that. The Bears didn't really invest in the offensive line as much in the draft and free agency. We got a bunch of backup guys in the draft. We drafted him in the 7th round, and in free agency we got Jermaine Afidi, Jason Spriggs, guys like that. So again, we could use some offensive line help. Now again, I don't expect him to necessarily make the roster, but definitely a guy to look out for on the practice squad. And if an injury pops up, he could, So you can definitely look into that. The other guys that I see here, again, like I said, the wide receiver, Ahmad Wagner, he used to be a former college basketball player, fun fact. Again, he's just got his work cut out for him because of the fact that the Bears have so many wide receivers now. They signed a lot and they drafted some. So that's going to be tough for him. Another guy to look at is Trevor McSwain out of Duke, who is a good pass rusher. And in his 18 starts at Duke, 102 tackles, 14 tackles for loss, 7.5 sacks, and 5 forced fumbles. So the production was there. Again, a stacked position for the Bears, so that makes it difficult. Again, I've talked about Ladarius Mack. He's got good potential as a pass rusher. I certainly think he's going to at least be a practice squad guy. He's got the potential to make the roster, folks, just because of the fact that, like I said, he is talented, but there's something to be said about being Khalil Mack's brother. So that helps a little bit. It helps a little bit. I don't want to underestimate that. LaKyle London from Western Illinois, he's a local kid. He's from Peoria, Illinois. So, again, doesn't have to travel far. But he's a good, talented kid as well. Dieter Esiason played rugby growing up, and he was the starting left guard at Yale. So another guy on the offensive line that could be a good practice squad guy. But ultimately going down this list of guys here, who do I expect to actually make an impact? I've mentioned Artavius Pierce. I believe he's got a legitimate shot to make the team as a third running back. Keandre Jones, just based off of talent. Love that there. One of these offensive linemen, I think, are going to have the opportunity in the event of an injury or, guys not playing well to maybe move up. But other than that, don't really see too much else here. Of course, forgot to mention Ladarius Mack, him as well. So really about 4, maybe 5 guys out of the 11 that I actually see making a significant impact, enough to challenge for a roster spot. But again, keep in mind here, folks, just because these guys don't make the roster doesn't mean, they just, we just waste them. They could go on the practice squad. So again, this isn't guaranteeing anything. I do like some of the guys that the Bears picked up. Some of these guys have good potential, but for the most part, I only see a handful that really have a legitimate shot. So there you have it, folks. My thoughts on the Bears undrafted free agents. Let me know if you guys agree with me or disagree with me with my takeaways that I have on all of these undrafted free agents. Again, just to recap, Artavius Pierce is the guy, Keandre Jones as well, Ladarius Mack, just a couple of guys to keep your eye on. So let me know if you guys agree or disagree. As always, thanks for watching.